All right, guys. As I go through this here, I just wanted to keep in mind, all right, when we're talking about Jaden, we're talking about one of the best players in the state of Georgia. We're talking about one of the best players, obviously, on our team. Just an amazing overall player. So what I'm going to go over is very, very fine, nitpicky stuff. Because, Jaden, I want you to understand something. There's so much good that you do for this team. This team would not be the same without you on the field. So just please understand that, okay? But let's talk about some things that I like. Obviously, your hustle and effort you see here. And then we'll talk about some things as well that we need to improve on. It's going to be a lot of improving on stuff, but just trust me, there's a lot here that's positive about your play in the game, okay? So let's take a look. First up, I want to just commend you. Your ability to press is unprecedented. Like it's really good. One of the reasons we get so many turnovers down here against teams is because of how much work and effort you put in, okay? But here's one thing I really want you and your dad to work on. It's this moment. You saw it right here. This moment right here. So through the press from you and Miles and Mav, we win the ball back right here. You got your moment here. Boom. This right here from a top elite striker is smashed. Top left-hand corner, bottom left-hand corner. This ball's in the back of the net. You being unselfish and seeing some pressure, slide it over to Miles. But again, that puts us in a worse spot. Right here, we have so much of the goal to shoot at, you can see. But by pushing it wide, we take away our angle, and honestly, they have time to kind of recover. What I need you to practice is this. All I want you and your dad to do is essentially find like some space, like in a box like this, all right? And all you would have to do here, simple enough, is just be in the box, right? Your dad's sitting somewhere outside the box. All he does is he feeds balls into your feet here. You just run into space. And all I want you to do is just practice, like faking, turning, and shooting, okay? Because the problem I'm having right now, and I think one of the things we can do to get you more on the scoreboard, is that when you get in these positions, your shots are kind of they're either too soft and they're easy for the keeper to stop, or, as you saw in the AFC game, you're missing the target sometimes, okay, and you're just not taking the opportunities. What I want my striker to be in this box at all times is selfish. I want you to be the most selfish person on the field. Wingers can be less selfish, but when you're in here in this box and that ball comes anywhere near your feet, you are turning and you are blazing that thing on goal. I don't know how much you guys watched Inter Atlanta's warm-up, but if you watch those boys shoot, those boys practice their shooting to a T. Like they can absolutely destroy that ball, and it's accurate every time because this is what they work on day in, day out with their training sessions, right? So that's something that could make you, right, take what you already do, which is elite, right, and make it just unreal, would be working on that finishing. So as soon as you turn, you are smashing it. And that's one thing I haven't seen in a while is that smash from you in front of the goal, okay? So that's one simple thing to work on. Just, again, you see how the ball pops to you in random places, and you've had this happen before in the game. You get the ball, and you just have a split second to shoot. It's all about speed with your back to goal, turn quick, get off a shot, and not just any shot, but a good shot, a good, strong strike to the bottom corner. That's where you need to be. Or just a smash through the keeper, right? Just smash it past the keeper. Like, we need to have those kind of shots, as quick, accurate shots, as well as the absolute blazers. And I know you've got a big, strong foot. So we just got to practice doing it in random places around the box. That's very key. Now, most of the rest of these are going to be just kind of along the same vein, me showing you this one thing from multiple perspectives, okay? But this is number one. We need to work on our finishing, okay? Because we've got to have our number 9, that's you, our center forward, finishing, right? ODP is going to expect it too. Now, when we talk about you on the field, I want to talk about you and your position relative to our wingers. Because right now, I don't know if you can see Miles, but you and Gabe and Miles are all in one straight line, which makes us easy to defend. And this guy was our nemesis all game, okay? And what he did was slightly different from what the UFA center back was doing. The UFA center back was all over you, all on your hips the whole game, right on your shoulder, pushing all the time. Michael is a little bit more reserved and sits back, and that requires a different strategy from you because what you tend to do is come towards the ball and give us this line. And unfortunately, with that line, it makes it real hard for us off. Sorry, not sure why I cut that off. But anyways, what we want to start doing is we want to start getting a little bit more depth in our play. So let me show you what I mean by that. I pressed the wrong button, sorry. Okay, so over here, let's say that Kintu's got the ball here, right? What we tend to do, and whether it's Kintu or even if it's Josh over here, it doesn't matter. What we tend to have from you is this. You tend to drop all the way into this space because you want to get that ball, right? Gabe gets wide, you come in here, okay? Usually kind of even with Gabe. So what tends to happen is this. Normally, this center back will follow you into the space, and it will create more space behind him. And you can actually see that right here, right? He's now leaving this space and leaving some room here, which means if you show and then play back to him, Josh can play that into space, and Gabe's gone, Miles is gone. Like, there are some benefits to this, absolutely. But the problem with you always coming back to the ball, and I mean, like, not just coming back to the ball, but like just your starting point, your starting position is so deep that this guy is basically free. So what happens is you come into the space, their center defensive mids will come back and guard you, and that leaves him free. So even if you receive this ball here and you do some magic and turn him and play it to Gabe, what we're having is Gabe now is against 2v1, against two players, because you're so deep. If you, in this position, were to trust a little bit more, trust Caden, trust trust, I need to switch up these numbers, Mason a little bit more in this space, right? When Josh shows here, trust our center mids to be here. Because if they get it and they get pressured, right, and they play through here, this center back now has to respond and respect you. If you stay high here, he's got to respect your height, which means when we finally do play this ball to Gabe, now all of a sudden it's Gabe on this guy one-on-one, and now we're in some good looks because, again, he has respect you. And here's what happens. Let's say Gabe beats him and 5 slides over. Now, because you isolated number 3, when 5 does come, it's not a 2-on-1, it's a 1v1 again for Gabe. And all he's got to do is slip you this ball, and we're in and we score. Okay? And it all starts with how you position yourself on the field, understanding that your job is to occupy this center back. If he wants to follow you, great. Then you can absolutely drop and pull him out of this space. But if he wants to stay high behind his defenders, then most center backs will want to do this. If he stays high, you need to stay high, and you want to play off of his shoulder right here. So when the ball goes into Gabe, you want to stay high like this. And you can still show to him, but you show from a high position, not a low position. Showing from a low position invites the center mids to come get you. You want to show from a higher position. So now when he plays you, and if you notice when we're cooking in the game and we're doing those 1-2s through, it's because you are starting higher. Okay? Let me show you what I mean. So again, here you are, all right, lower, and I don't know if you can tell, that guy on your shoulder is not the center back. Michael is back there. That's their center. That's your center mid. So now you're doing some extra work here, trying to beat their center mid. And even if you do, right, we got 2-on-1 for Gabe over there. Let's try the next one. So again, looking at our starting position, you are so low, right? If I'm a center forward, and I've played center forward before, okay, what I do is I sit right here, right off of this guy's hip. All right, I'm looking for that play. Right off his hip, right? I don't know why this keeps on messing up. Anyways, I'm right here, right off of his hip, because what I want is I want his vision this way. I'm on his hip, and then we play the ball over the top, and I'm through, okay? So we want to play off of his hip, and I'll show you when you do it how it changes the game. But again, you're here competing with center mids, and we already have center mids in that space. So now I got you and Caden side by side holding hands, and we got no one deep, right, to really work their center back. Let's see, look from another perspective here. So let's talk about your positioning here. Here you're much higher. And look what happens because you're so high. Because you're so high, Michael has to respect you. And not only that, it gives you a one-on-one chance against him because you're behind the center mids. They can't help him. He's on an island on his own. And you and he had a great little battle here. He's a wonderful defender, by the way. But you do such a good job hounding him, right? And taking him all the way to the corner. All because you decided to be higher than my winger. And you give us, if you can kind of see it, this triangular shape. Here's Gabe maintaining some width. You got Timmy, who I guess was the right wing at the time. I think he and Miles have switched. But now you're here. And now we have a nice tight triangle. And triangles give us depth and angles that we can work with. Okay. Moving over here. Okay, so in this situation, let's see where you are. All right, there you are again. You're in a straight line with Miles and Gabe. No depth. So even if you're back here, you're trying to win the ball from the center mid, and you do some good work. But now when we play the ball downfield, there's not really a whole lot of space for Gabe here. Again, Miles has come down a little bit to come with you, but for the most part, he's there to cover if he needs to be. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to start higher up the field. Let's see. We got a good example here. So here we are. Here we have you a little higher. Now, you're being a little bit on the tired walk back here, but I do like the fact that you're right there off of his shoulder. That's where good center forwards play, right off of his outside of his vision. So what I'd do is I'd probably stay right here behind him, right? And then when the ball starts to come into play, I'm going to jump into this space over here. He either follows me and creates a gap here for Miles, or he stays where he is, and now I've got a gap over here for the ball. But you play off of his hip, okay? We try to one-on-one that center back wherever he is. If he follows you, good, then you drag him under. Otherwise, stay high with him. Stay high up there with him and make him have to respect you, all right, on the field, like respect your positioning. So let's look here. Right here, again, you're next to Michael, but you're not that high. So here Gabe gets the ball, but because you're a little bit higher than, I shouldn't say this, you actually are higher than Gabe here. It's just you don't continue that drive. I'd want you to be a little bit further up. As soon as you see this ball is going this direction, you're trying to get as high as you can while being onside to give us some additional depth. Because when Gabe does get this, now you can show to him here, and we can do the 1-2 down the field. But anyways, we essentially get that anyways, just a little further under. I'd say, again, you could be off of Michael's hip right here. Either way, here you are. Here comes the ball. And because, again, because you're a little too flat with him here, you aren't at the right angle to be able to make this pass. Gabe doesn't make a good pass either. But if you had come up here, again, right next to Michael, and been showing this way, that pass to you would be easier, and that play to him would be greater. And Michael would have to respect you. Okay? But because you're lower, Michael doesn't have to respect your positioning. So even if you played this to Gabe, it would be Michael. In fact, it's almost 3-on-1 over there. Because even if you played this ball into that space, Michael's there to help that additional defender. You need to be higher to make him respond to you. Again, you'll see more examples of this throughout. So again, look how low you are here. And what we're trying to do, I noticed one of the things that you're getting really upset about as a player is that your lack of goals. You want to be on the scoreboard more, and I can appreciate that. So let's talk about why it's not happening. It's because you're so low here. Look at Miles, this beautiful little turn and the run, right? But we look at you and we see, are you anywhere near that center back? No. And now, again, it's 2-on-1 versus Miles. If you were here in the middle, on his back, right here, right? He would not leave this space. He couldn't. He'd have to let Miles run in because he's got to respect you. Okay, but since you're not there, he cannot come over and cut off Miles' chances. Okay, and so if you are off of his hip, we have way more options here. Because look, and you see how far back you are? Even if Miles crosses this, which he does, and the keeper were to spill that, you wouldn't be in position for that because you're not booking your behind down there. You got to see how hard Michael's running to get there? You got to run just as hard to get in that space behind him. If he's leaving that space, you got to be there. Either he respects you there or Miles can cut it back to you. Okay, but we got to be filling that space. All right, let's see here. Here you're a little bit higher. This I love. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. You're high. You're off his back shoulder. He's got to constantly scan to see where you are, which means he's not watching the ball. So you can see his head turn here to look at you. That means he's not watching the ball. So when the ball gets played, he's not ready, and you can jump right in. And then, boom, look at that touch. This I like because now we got depth. Michael's got to come in to respect you, and we play that ball in. Slightly better ball, Miles is in. You see? Because Michael has to respect you coming in. And our Miles took a little bit too long on that run. But either way, that's the kind of ball I want from that angle. You're high, coming back to it, and releasing into that space. Normally, you'd be about like right here, right? And then this guy would come and guard you. And you'd have a tougher time playing Miles because then he'd have two defenders coming to get him. Okay? But by you staying high, we simplify the offense a lot. Okay. Right here, we got another press. Looks good. Oh, I just was going to say right here, the only thing I would say to you in this moment is you should be screaming your head off of this ball right now. If Gabe touches this to you, we have an easy goal. Instead, he tries to take a terrible shot. It's not even worth the shot at this point. He needs to be releasing you here, and then you're in wide open. Like, we need to start getting to where our wingers realize that if you can draw the center back to you, Jaden's open. And just one little touch would have been a goal. So continuing here, we're trying to find the height on you here, right? So again, there's Michael. You're pretty close to him. And here the ball's coming long. But again, I don't like this as much from you. I don't like you running. Look at Miles is already here, right? If you let Miles take this, okay, if you do your job and stay high and central, if you're here, Michael will not come this way. Okay, and we're leaving Miles one-on-one with this poor, slow joker over here. He's going to bring the ball down, and then Michael's going to have to come, and then Miles can slide it to you, and then we score. And it's just because of positioning. And I know you want that ball, and I know you want to chase it. But now I got two of my players chasing after the same ball, and we don't need that. We're wasting energy here, right? Be smart. Miles has got this. You know he does. Stay central. Let him do the work, and let him find you, okay, in the middle. Because look at that space in the middle. That's where you should be. And Miles should be just chipping it over Michael's head into you, into space. Okay, continuing here, let's take a look. So again, you're not really off of Michael's hip, but you're in a good position. You're a little bit deeper than their center mids. And I think Mason does a nice job finding you here. And when we get it, this is where we need to have the quick move and the quick shot. So you're either going to fake the left foot here and cut back on your right, or you see how he's forcing you on your left? You drive left and then drag it across the box. But either way, nice little cut, just some good defending from him. You just might realize that, I don't know, we need to take a smaller touch there and be ready to shoot quicker because those defenders are just ready. But I don't think you did much wrong there. I thought you did pretty well. Moving this along, again, you see here, you're leaving that space next to Michael. Now you are behind the center mid, which is good. But again, you're here, okay? I'd love to see Miles getting to the center for you. You guys can kind of trade around. But again, I like this depth. You're a little bit higher, which is good. Gives us more options. I'd rather you let Miles take that. And again, if you're in the center, Michael wouldn't even be out here. And then Miles would be sliding you in. Instead, you're being forced out of bounds by what is honestly a tremendous defender. I can't believe how good this guy is. I was blown away. Number 3 is a great player. Okay, continuing here. All right, here the ball comes out. All right, and this is center forward 101. You got to stay in line with the back line. You got to make sure, right, you are in line with them so you don't go offside. Because when these kind of balls come in, I love your reaction. I love your shot. That should have been a goal. But you just let them get higher than you. You got to maintain your line. Stay off of that center back's hip, okay? Because they make mistakes too, and we could have taken advantage of one there. Now, let's see here. Nice little through ball. Oh, this is what I like. You being off the back shoulder of the center back. He doesn't really know that you're there. So when this ball comes in, he's surprised. And look at that hustle from you and great effort, okay, to get this ball in behind. This gives us way more options because now Miles is Miles should have been one-on-one with this guy, but you took the run instead. But here's what I'll say is because you stay central, Michael stays central, okay? And that can make us do better. Oh, Timmy, we could have had a goal there if you found that back post. But anyways, that's what I'm talking about. Stay high, stay central in that position because now you can run off their shoulder when they're not ready. And if Miles had gotten there, he could have crossed it to you in the middle and you've been wide open. This is how teams like UFA score on us all the time because their center forwards stay high and stay central. And they're always the final pass before the goal. Let me see. More of the same, really. Just trying to stay high. All right, and here you see how low and deep you're getting. So even if Gabe does cross this in there, there's only Miles. You're not in a good position in that box. I need you to get your behind in that box and be the tip of our spear, so to speak. Okay? Let me see, more here. Again, you're very low. So if Miles does play you here, you see you got the center mid on your back, and now you can't do anything. If you were higher here in this space, right next to him, you could come back here. Again, the center mid wouldn't be anywhere close to you. So when Miles played this, you would have way more space to play him. That's why our 1-2s with our wingers aren't going as well this season, because you are flat in line with them, and it's really hurting that depth that we need in our offense. Okay, here you see the difference in depth. Look here. Because you're a little higher off of him, boom, you're in position. All right, and I wish you kind of played that first time into Gabe's because you see right here he's about to burn that kid. But that's all right. You make a nice little decision here, which is to drop it back. I love when you drop this ball back. And then, Josh, if this had been a better ball, oh my gosh, we would have had another goal right there. But anyways, I like this play from you. You're high, you come back. You don't see a way to get it up to Gabe, so you drop it back. We play over the top. That could have been a pretty goal. So again, here, you're a little higher. This is good. So when Gabe comes in, he can find you. And look, he plays it behind you. A better ball there, I think we were in. But your touch takes you a little bit too far wide. And we just can't quite find Miles here. I just need you to realize, see how he's backing up and opening up? This ball doesn't go into space. This ball should go to his feet. We practice this a lot. And because we aren't doing it, see, this defender's trying to take away the through ball. And now we play it high, and it's a problem. All right, so really, I love your positioning here. A good spot. Bad ball by Gabe, but if you'd found your feet, you'd probably play him in. Either way, I love your decision to turn. Good decision to Miles, but it has to be to his feet. Let him cook, okay? Right here, ball bouncing around. You're staying kind of high. That's good. All right, and here you go getting up the field. Where's Miles? I don't know why I included that. That's not helpful. Okay. Moving on here. All right, here we go. Perfect. So you got some height, but now you're backing away from Gabe, right? We really want to help attack this space in between these two defenders. Make him come to you, make him come to Gabe, and now we got room in behind. Okay, so if you're here for the 1, 2, and we're through, okay, it's a little bit better. But because you're more horizontal, any pass coming to you would have to be a switch to Miles. Whereas I'd rather see you here. I mean, if anything, if you're playing off Michael's shoulder, if you're a little higher here next to Michael, right, off his back shoulder, Gabe can play this ball to you, and you're through and you're in. We want to really play off of the shoulder of that center forward as much as we can, right? Because it gives us more options. Continuing, all right, good stand near Michael. Gabe gets the ball. You're trying to find space. Good ball from, oh my goodness, this is almost it. If you just slip this a little bit more inside, or if Miles had opened up just a little bit more, I think it would have been offside there. If he'd opened up and you'd given you a better angle there, even maybe, but oh my gosh, this is a great idea for me. This is where we're going to get lots of goals against teams. Your ability to combine with your wingers, man, it's top notch, okay? We almost had that one. So here you are a little low because now, again, you're matched up against some center mids, I think, but this leads to a goal, which is nice. So here comes the ball, and you're winning what we call the second ball. You know he's going to win that. You win it back, and it's immediate release. Or the problem we've been having with the team is too much dribbling, but you're such a good distributor. You give him the ball, you give him the space, he uses his speed for once, and finishes. They can't hang when we go full speed. With your intelligence, your passing, Gabe's speed, and finishing, we should have done that all game, and picking them apart. But we got some work to do in terms of how we play and where we get our depth. But our combinations, our width is looking much better as a team. That's why we're getting a lot of goals. All right. Only a couple more left, I promise. Carson does well, wins the ball, plays you, and I love this instinct from you. Carson's like 2-on-1 over there. I'm going to take this turn and try to play wide. But again, look who you're playing against here. You're playing against their right back. I guess you are a little high compared to Carson. That's good. But anyways, I like this. I love this ball here. You're looking to switch. You play in Miles. But what I want to see now is this, okay? This is, I guess, the third thing to work on. When you get this ball to the wingers, you want to score goals. I know you do. You got to get here. Look where Carson is. You got to get here. Get up the field. Give him, whether it's an option or you're just waiting for that cross, you know it's coming in. Okay, get up the field because you never know what's going to happen. Here comes the cross. He could have smashed it into the middle, and you would have had yourself a goal. Okay. There you go. Ooh, I like this. You staying high. If for whatever reason they have this weird build out where he carries the ball at the field and he leaves that space, you take it. A better ball here. I'm not sure if this is Mav. No, it's Jaden or somebody. Plays this ball at the top. If that ball had been better, you're in. So again, staying high is such a huge advantage. In our last video here, I see you hustling, but again, this ball is going into Miles' space. It doesn't do us any good to have both of you chasing the ball because now I have no center forward. Even if you cross this, what are we getting out of it? Nothing. Let the wingers wing. You play that center forward role, okay? Other than that, man, like if we're talking about things to work on, simple things, shooting, finishing, but like half chances. Obviously work on your normal technique, dribbling in. On keepers, we need you with your breakaways, finishing those. I think there was one against AFC that you missed where you were wide in, open in on goal, and you just shanked the ball. Practice those one-on-ones with the keeper, yes, but also the snapshots, the turns, the smashes. I got to have that power from you, okay? We also want to make sure we stay high and not in a vertical line with our wingers. That's the second main point. And the third and final main point is, I think it was back over here maybe, is when we do get this ball down the field finally, right? I need you to stay high. And when we get the ball to our wingers, there we go. I need you getting your behind up that field. That's point number 3. You got to be getting as northward as possible for that cross and finish, okay? Hope all that makes sense. I'm sorry that I had to send 2 videos because I don't know how to press the buttons on this thing. But I hope all that makes sense. And if you have any questions, let me know. But D, the main thing skill-wise is just right now for him finishing. His touches are good. His control out of the air is good. I loved his bicycles were awesome. My dad was at the game and was just super impressed with Jaden. And he's always my mom's favorite player to watch out there, other than Mavi too. So anyways, keep it up. Keep doing a great job. Work on your positioning and work on your finishing. Those 2 things make a huge difference. Hope that helps.